The Ethan Klein meltdown has been one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Now, listen, I want to say this straight off the bat. I know that nobody who's on Ethan Klein's side on any of this watches any of the people that he's attacking. Because if they did, if they had any amount of charitability and open mind, they would immediately abandon Ethan Klein. Like, immediately. So the only people that are still watching Ethan at this point are literal Ethan Klein parasocial fans, which I gotta say, of all the fans you could be on the internet, being an Ethan Klein parasocial fan has got to be the most pathetic thing. Like, the guy hasn't been funny for like 8 years. He tried to do a politics show, and then the first thing that actually like implicated him and his morality and his beliefs, he had a meltdown and had to end the show. And since then, he's now trying to ally himself with a sex pest criminal who's facing criminal and civil charges for non-consensually recording women and sharing their revenge pornography with literally dozens of people, like committing dozens of crimes and civil infractions and torts. And he wants to, and he's like, he's a fan. Honestly, this is what it is. This is the Ethan Klein stream. The Ethan Klein stream is now a Destiny fan from 2019. Literally. He's watching clips from 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. That's back when Destiny was relevant. And he's going like, look, these people change. Mike used to be, Mike was raised in a conservative family, guys, 13 years ago. It's like, that is the big nuke. And whenever somebody comes to my stream, which is very rarely, they immediately fold, because all of the attacks run by DGG are paper thin. They only work as a kind of like way of poisoning the well against somebody like me. Now, if you're a far right dedicated partisan, you're not going to like me. I don't like you. You don't like me. We get it. You know, I understand that you are you know, oriented toward hierarchy. I understand that you're oriented toward your bosses, and you kind of have an obsequious way about you, and there's nothing for us to say to each other than, you know, good luck. It's just, did you see Ethan being sued for violating multiple labor laws? Yeah, I did see that. Ethan Klein, that's a good title. Ethan Klein sued for multiple labor infractions. And here's the thing, like, we have Ethan exactly where we want him, right? Because like, he successfully pissed off all of Hassan's followers. He successfully, now he's just attacking the left. And this is the thing about Ethan that he doesn't understand. And if he watched my stream, here, I'm going to give you free advice, Ethan. Ethan, you're not smart enough on politics to really understand what a radical is and what mainstream is. And you don't know what any of that means. You know it, and I know you don't know that. And here's a little hint. Destiny doesn't know it either. Okay? Destiny is not educated or experienced in politics, man. Thank you, Techno Dog, for the 10 subs, by the way. He doesn't know what he's talking about, all right? And neither do you. So what you're doing is you're wading into politics, and you are saying shit that doesn't make sense to anybody who watches politics. And so you are putting yourself out there on no man's land. Nobody gives a shit. Like, nobody, the world that Destiny constructed, which you're now getting sucked into, which is very funny, is not actually political. All criticism equals Destiny. Bro, you've been here for years as a Destiny simp. Like, I've known about you as a Destiny simp for years. What are you talking about? And you just say Bad Buddy. Okay, yeah, I cringed with Bad Buddy 6 years ago, and then I went to dinner with her. And then what? What happened then? What happened then? You got me. I cringed 6 years ago, right before I went to dinner. What is it? What do you think you're saying? What do you think you're doing? You're a fan of a literal sex pest. And I mean, I get it. Your name is Lemon Stealer, a reference to a famous porno. I mean, honestly, just... We all know. We all know. Okay, we get it. Sir, don't, I'm not gonna have to time you out for talking about self-harm. I think they're trying to convince you of something, but they don't actually know what it is. But they don't have anything. That's the thing that's crazy. It's like, Mike, did you know you used to be conservative? Yeah. When I was raised in a military family. And then I changed them. What's your point? Next. D, by his own admission, never read a book. And that's the thing with Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein is honestly like, and this is where he's going to get tripped up. And this is why he's going to fail. And the thing is, he's too stupid. See, the thing is, he's been poisoned against me and Denims and Hassan because we're not Zionists. And we oppose what the state of Israel is doing. The thing with Ethan is he identifies with Israel. And he identifies with people that are very, very much to the right in Israel, much more than he does anyone in Palestine. Okay. And that's just, you know, it's his life experiences. It's his socialization. It is what it is. Like, we're never going to convince him that Palestinians are equal human beings to Israelis or to Americans. You know, he just considers Arab people. He said it before. And can someone show me the clip? If somebody could dig up this clip. He basically said that Muslims and Arab Muslims in particular were predisposed to violence. That is a racial comment. And he said it with such a calmness and surety that it is the side of cold-blooded racial bias. There's nothing more you could say. I mean, Destiny said that he supports the genocide in Palestine. He's Islamophobic. And this is who Ethan Klein is following. And Destiny... being Islamophobic, being a bigot, supporting genocide is really bad. But he's also an active criminal. And yet none of that matters for Ethan. Is this the one? Whatever happened to Nicole? I don't know. Before, it's very funny. I will say this really fun. This thing about Nicole, which is before me, she was kind of like conservative, and now after me, she's like a radical left. Anyway, let's keep going. It's funny to think about people that encountered me. Like, this is my most arrogant belief. People encounter me, and I don't know why. But it is a life-altering experience for people. I don't know why. So many people have just changed the course of their entire life because they encountered me, or they've gone completely unhinged and insane. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not everybody, of course, but it is enough people where it's kind of funny, where I'm just like, oh no. Should we recognize that this is another instance of white people wanting so badly to be prejudiced against? I mean, we have to remember that, like, I'm somebody who's actually deeply, deeply, deeply studied World War II and what led up to World War II in Weimar Germany, and what the Nazis actually believed. I think you should know what the Nazis actually believed so you don't ever get confused and get tricked, right? Like, one of the things that America did, and this is a very important historical point. Did you guys know that caring a lot about the Holocaust was originally considered to be left-wing coded? Caring a lot about the Holocaust was coded as socialist because West Germany had a lot of former Nazis in it. And so if you cared a lot about the Holocaust, you were considered to be a left-winger, undermining West Germany in the fight against the Soviet Union. That's part of why the Soviet Union made the epic blunder of supporting Israel's formation, because the America and the Western allies initially were basically trying to just move on from the Holocaust. The United States really didn't start supporting Israel until the 60s and the 70s. Okay, we were kind of like mildly in favor of Israel, but it was actually a lot of like the left wing. Like a lot of the weapons for the Nakba came from, like, I think it was the Czechs. Like the Czechs gave weapons, which is in, you know, Eastern and Central Europe, right? And this is kind of like a complication, which is like a lot of like the Soviet Union and a lot of the left wondered, because there was early on in Israel's history, it was the left, so-called the labor left, socialist, self-described socialists, like kibbutzes, who, even liberal Zionists, even binational state Zionists, you know, those type of people were the leading people in Israel early in its formation. And so, believe it or not, now when you look at it, you see Israel is far right, Israel is genocidal, Israel is, like, you know, fascist, Israel is closely aligned with the United States, and it's used as a cat's paw all around the world. That wasn't initially how it went. So I think a lot of people, like somebody like Ethan Klein, doesn't understand that because he's never read a book. And I don't mean that as an attack. I just mean that as a bare statement of fact. Right? Not understanding the complexities of what got us to this point. Right? Israel has been very successful in kind of navigating its way through the political tides. You know, that's why it exists, because they've managed to ride the waves of various different political movements. You think that went away? I'm sorry it came back. The neoliberal party leader said a few days ago that all the people demonstrating against the CDU because they work together with the AFD are left radicals. Oh, of course. You can copy and paste every single one of Ethan's talking points and compare them to documentaries that were made during apartheid South Africa and just listen to the arguments they were making in favor of apartheid. They sound the damn near the exact same. Well, here's the thing, future gamer. Israelis understand that South Africa was their model, right? Like, they know that. Like, people like Ethan Klein understand that. Like, when you compare him to apartheid South Africa, they're not mad because you're wrong. They're mad because it sounds bad. And the reason why they're mad about it is because America had its own civil rights movement, and in the common understanding, black people are equal citizens to white people in America, right? There's this kind of like kindergarten brain, true American. Like, most black people have far deeper roots to America than the white people, you know? So most white people, even people that are a little bit bigoted, look at black people as true Americans. That was kind of the legacy of the civil rights era, which is, you know, there's still bias and hate against black people, but no one really denies their Americanness, right? Like, in fact, a lot of white people take pride in black culture as truly what makes America, as truly American. And so there is a kind of real strong distaste for apartheid South Africa, right? Now, apartheid South Africa's last ally was Israel. And people like Ethan Klein understand that.
I do, on the other hand, acknowledge that, like, I think per capita, a lot of the weird fucking terrorism and crimes and shit, I mean, there's definitely some strong thread of violence through the Muslim community. Yeah. Or Arab Muslims, to be more specific.
The extreme.
So, the extreme, yeah. Like, there's a really...
The extremists,
like,
sure.
You hear people say, like, you don't see Jews and Christians going and fucking doing suicide bombs. Maybe you do see some Christians these days.
First of all, yes, you did. And this is why, like, Ethan Klein is almost... This is, like, bordering on Holocaust denial. And, like, it's because Ethan Klein... I'm sure he didn't intend it. He's just dumb. And he doesn't know anything, right? a lot of Jewish people committed suicide attacks against the Nazis. That's just a fact. In the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, a lot of Jews did suicide attacks on the Nazis rather than surrender and be sent to death camps. Or be captured. They fought to the bitter end. And they committed suicide. Why? Because they were being targeted. And they understood that. And they were fighting with all of their strength. And the Palestinians are stateless. And this is one of the things that I think is really like sobering about people like Ethan Klein, which is he just doesn't care about history. He just doesn't care. Because if you care about history, if you study history, you can see the clear parallels between the Jewish people and the Palestinian people. The experience of being a stateless minority targeted by a powerful majority and denied equal status under the law. The idea that Zionism was socialist or left-wing is massively wrong. Okay, Herzl and Ben-Gurion socialism was only... Herzl wasn't a socialist. And Ben-Gurion socialism was only skin deep. I completely agree with you. I think you're mishearing me. And you might be having a little bit of problems understanding what I'm saying. Is that the Soviet Union allied with these surface level labor Zionists and leftists, right? They called themselves socialists. They called themselves leftists, but they bared racial animus against indigenous people. We're not talking about them being actual socialists, because socialists, it's in the Internationale. One of the founding positions of socialism and leftism is that races are equal. Mike, we're all really bored of Ethan and D. Please move on. We gave you a good week and a half to our viewers and subs, but Jesus Christ, we're moving on. Don't worry. The man is still attacking me, James. Like, what do you want me to say, dude? And so, and as far as like, you don't see Jews doing terrorist bombings. I mean, he doesn't even know the history of Israel. Israel was founded on terrorism. This is one of the most famous terrorist attacks. And what's interesting is recently they made the British Prime Minister, when he visited Israel, stay at the King David Hotel. Oh, you're the victim? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, chatter? Your first time here? Your first time here? What do you mean? You have the floor. What do you want to say to represent Ethan Klein fans? Okay, you've been here. You've been a Twitch user since 2015, so you're in your 30s. You have the floor. Nothing? Okay. Pretty standard Ethan Klein fan. Anyway, getting back to teaching history. It's hard to type while you're shaking, yeah. The British administrative headquarters for Mandatory Palestine, housed in the southern wing of the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, was bombed in a terrorist attack on 22nd July 1946 by militant right-wing Zionist underground organization Irgun during the Jewish insurgency. 91 people of various nationalities were killed, including Arabs, Britons, and Jews, and 46 were injured. This isn't the only terrorist attack. But I want you to understand that Israel's entire founding, in fact, the Irgun terrorist organization, which I think could be most reasonably analogized to Hamas, became the political party of Benjamin Netanyahu. It became Likud in 1988. So here it is. I'm going to show it to you right here. Irgun was a terrorist organization of Jewish Zionists who killed innocent civilians. And then it became the Harut Party, conservative nationalist political party in Israel. Would be most closely, I mean, if you were just analogizing it, it would be Hamas. And then that became, and it had a formal merger into Likud in 1988, which is Benjamin Netanyahu's party, the party of Israel. Chairperson, Benjamin Netanyahu. There you go. Benjamin, I mean, so like, what is he talking about? Like, what is he talking about? Now, does this mean, I mean, based on this logic, Ethan Klein thinks that Israel shouldn't be able to exist because they committed terrorism. Now, you know, this kind of stuff is history. Now, if you're a wealthy, privileged white guy from Beverly Hills, you're not going to learn this stuff. Babadinsky was very clear that he admired Mussolini in both his ideology and practice. Revisionist Zionism has always been the driving military force in Israel. People like Ben-Gurion would frequently call them fascists. Oh, absolutely. They called themselves fascists. Like, a lot of the people that helped found Israel called themselves fascists and said that they saw a lot to admire in National Socialism except for the anti-Semitism. There was an alliance. I mean, like, this is just, this is factual history. Why is this not okay to say? Because it makes Israel look bad. It shines a different light on what Israel is. Ethan wants you to think of Israel as this home of refugees. And in many ways, there were a lot of refugees in Israel. And a lot of those refugees were invited there, or they voluntarily left. A lot of them were compelled to go. But I don't think it would be okay if we brought in 3 million Haitians and went to Ethan Klein's house and kicked him out of his house and kicked everybody in that neighborhood out of his house just because they were refugees from horrible violence. I don't think that's an acceptable way to solve problems, is go, well, we committed horrible atrocities against these people, so we're going to commit another atrocity against another group of people. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't justify what Israel has done. And that's what Ethan Klein wants you to do. You know, Ethan Klein doesn't just want you to not care about the Palestinians. He wants you to help oppress them. He wants to spend your tax dollars. He wants to spend your military might. He wants to spend America's reputation and diplomacy abroad defending Israel. It's not just that we can't criticize Israel. It's that we have to actively pay for their crimes. That's what Ethan Klein thinks. And it's ultimately, like, that's the problem. You know, sometimes people use the word like good person. Have you ever heard that phrase? People say, so-and-so is a good person. So I posted about Ethan Klein this weekend because I found out about a lawsuit that he's facing from his housekeeper. And when I saw the document, it was really, 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 it was really disgusting. And I was like, I know for a fact that it's not easy to sue people. You have to have a lot of money ready. So do you guys think a housekeeper has a lot of money to sue Ethan Klein? So that means that the housekeeper is either borrowing money to sue Ethan Klein, or a bunch of attorneys looked at the case and found it to be so egregious that they said, we'll pay for your lawsuit against Ethan Klein because we know we're going to win. And we'll get you money and we'll pay for our legal fees. That is what is happening to Ethan Klein, is that lawyers looked at this case and said, oh my God, this is so egregious. We'll pay for your shit. This is something that lawyers do frequently. It's why conservatives hate the legal system, by the way. One of the few ways that regular people in America can get justice is through trial lawyers. And what happens with trial lawyers is they'll pay for everything up front if your case is good enough. If you've been wronged and you're broke, trial lawyers will pay for everything because they'll take a percentage at the end. If they win. If they lose all their money. If you get nothing, they are out all the fees and all the effort. But corporations fucking hate the trial lawyers. Rich people like Ethan Klein hate trial lawyers. They'll frequently say that they're trying to extort me for money. So Ethan Klein is being, his housekeeper says that she went to them and said, hey, I need to take a month off because I have a hernia surgery coming up. And so to recover, I need to basically not be engaged in strenuous physical activity. And I need accommodations in the form of light work. But I'm not going to be able to do everything I used to do as your housekeeper and maid and, I guess, personal cook. She was doing a lot of stuff for Ethan Klein. Now, can I just say this? And I'm going to say it. And I'm going to say it very simply. This is weird. No matter how much money I have made, I have never thought about getting a servant. Like this, you have to have a certain type of mentality to want a live-in servant. I know that there's a lot of people here who hear me say that and are like, no, I would love to have servants. But for me, it's just odd, Sometimes it's necessary, right? Like if you are in say you're a fucking let's say you're the president, right? The president probably shouldn't be spending his time doing his laundry, right? It probably makes sense to have somebody help the president with his laundry, right? But if you're a live-at-home YouTuber, what are you even doing all day? What are you doing all day? Throw a load of laundry in there. Hang out with your kids. What is he doing all day that he needs a maid? He needs a nanny. What is he fucking doing all day? I'm legitimately curious. He hasn't made a video on his main channel since Vape Nation. Like, what the fuck is he doing all day? I think if you're a single mother of multiple kids working 10 hours a day, oh yeah, definitely. If you're a single parent who leaves your home to work, it's a little bit different to get help around the house. But if you're a YouTuber who works from home, what the fuck are you doing all day? I'm legitimately asking. This is also different from hiring a cleaning lady once or twice a month to help you do a deep clean. This is a live-in housekeeper. This is fucking crazy. Who lives like this? Ethan was in his basement all day outside of the podcast making his content flop too. Dude is lazy as fuck. I mean, he didn't research a single goddamn thing. Okay, so what is Ethan Klein being sued for? He's being sued for violation of the California Family Rights Act, the disability discrimination violation in FEHA, a retaliation in violation of FEHA, failure to provide reasonable accommodation, failure to engage in interactive process, failure to take reasonable steps to prevent discrimination, retaliation in violation of California paid sick leave law, wrongful termination in violation of public policy, failure to provide meals and rest period, failure to pay overtime, failure to pay state and local minimum wage, and failure to pay all wages due, and failure to furnish wage statements. Oh my God. Now, I don't know this, chat. I want you to know I'm just doing what's known as news coverage of an emerging story. So I don't have any firsthand knowledge of what went down. You know, if Ethan Klein was to come out here and say what happened, I would like to encourage him to make a video where he talks about exactly why he's innocent. Otherwise, all we could do is go by the public filings. And to me, the story is very, very sad and gross. Let me pull it up. I want to make sure that, okay. All right. Facts common to all causes of action. On information to believe, at all relevant times, defendant Teddy Fresh Inc. was a California corporation doing business in California. On information to believe, Teddy Fresh Inc. is and was at all times relevant and owned and operated by defendants Gila Klein and Ethan Klein, collectively the Kleins, each of whom at all times was an officer, director, and or managing agent of TFI and an other person acting on behalf of an employer within the meaning of Labor Code Section 558-1. On information to believe, there is a unity of interest between defendants and each of them, and each acts as the alter ego of the other, and failure to recognize the alter ego relationship would lead to an inequitable result. On information to believe, the Kleins and TFI are and were engaged in one and more of the following: commingled funds, an unauthorized diversion of corporate funds or assets to other than corporate uses, treated assets of the corporation as though they were individual assets, such as paying personal debts with corporate funds, or utilizing corporate funds to purchase assets for individual shareholders with no discernible benefit to other shareholders, failed to obtain proper authority to issue all stock granted to certain shareholders, allowed one or more individuals to state that she or he will be personally liable for debts of the corporation, failed to follow corporate technicalities such as maintaining proper records, holding regular board and shareholder meetings, and properly electing officers to craft and administer corporate policy, shared owners, directors, and officers with other related or closely held entities, shared office space or business locations with other. And the reason why I'm watching all this is the reason why I'm reading all this is this establishes that Teddy Fresh isn't like, oh, Ethan and Hilla had nothing to do with this. Teddy Fresh Corporation fucked up with this person. They just didn't know. It was all the employees they have in their mega company, Teddy Fresh. Right? They didn't know. This is establishing that, no, actually, Teddy Fresh is just Ethan and Hilla Klein. They know exactly, you know, it's not a private business. Or it's not like separate from the corporation. There wasn't like a rogue HR director doing things. Like, this is why this is very important to establish. Hilla and Ethan Klein were directly connected to this. Is this just throwing the book and seeing what sticks? No, this is objectively the reality. Have you read the Teddy Fresh Glassdoor reviews? Because they also complain that they're made to work overtime without pay. Oh my God. Is that true? How does Glassdoor confirm that you're like, Glassdoor does like a confirmation process to ensure that you're like an employee of the company, right? Like they make sure you're part of the company before they let you post, right? I'm not sure of Glassdoor's processes. No or yeah? Okay, people are saying both. Lena, his secretary/assistant, plays the role of his servant on the show. She gets him drinks on demand, cleans up messes, orders food, prepares snacks, gets him anything he asks for like he's a feudal lord. That's why he's a capitalist, chat. Legitimately, people like Ethan Klein, like the reason why he goes like, I'm just a social democrat, is because he wants servants, right? He doesn't like the socialist idea that workers are equal. Like everybody should be equal, right? He doesn't like that. He likes the idea of having servants wiping his ass. That's what it's really all about. It's not, you know, he likes having power over people. He likes having private power over people, so they have to do what he says because he's holding their paycheck over their head. He doesn't want to live in a world where people have rights. People are, you know, they work a job, right? They you know, they have duties, they have responsibilities. They might even have to take direction. But he wants to be able to lord it over interpersonally. And so, like, this is what people, when people say good person, bad person, that usually just means I don't like that person or I like that person, right? Like, that is like what people mean when they say that. And I'm sometimes called a bad person because I'm a little bit mean or I'm a little bit abrupt, right? Like, I sometimes say to people that are assholes, you're a fucking piece of shit. And I hope you suffer the consequences of your actions. Like, I'll say stuff like that. And people be like, whoa, Mike's mean. He's a bad person. He just said that bad person deserves to have a bad life. And it's like, you know what? Guilty. But if you ever work with me interpersonally, I'm going to take care of you and I'm going to treat you respectfully. I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to take care of you. And I'm going to treat you like I treat myself. I'm going to treat you like an equal fucking person. He was appalled when Dan said share the profits with his employees. That's when he decided he's not for socialism. Yeah. I'm a blunt person. I'm an honest person. I'm not fake. You know, I just tell you what I think all the time because, you know what? Who has time for this subterfuge? I'm not the fucking Queen of Sheba. You know what I mean? Like, why am I running around trying to do subterfuge and trick people and show fake personas? It's like, who has time for that? But so I don't find the good person, bad person distinction to mean much. In fact, whenever I hear somebody say so-and-so is a good person, that's a red flag for me on that person. Like, legitimately, I'm like, they're a good person, huh? It's something you say when you don't have anything specific to say. But it's also a side the person is manipulating you. They want you to be like positively oriented toward that person, right? And it's like, instead of saying they're a good person, why don't you give me a story of the good thing they did that makes them good? You know what I mean? And so anyway, Ethan Klein is very dedicated to saying that me and Denims are bad people and he's a good person. But this is a person who is the most intimate worker you could have. A live-in housekeeper, maid, tendy retriever for him. And he mistreated her so badly. She's suing him. Okay, so complaint for damages. Plaintiff served as full-time housekeeper to the clients beginning on approximately December 16th, 2020. She was well regarded during her time with them and fulfilled her job duties without issue, including cleaning the house, doing laundry. Oh no. Okay, I found it. Okay, never mind. I have it. Okay. Doing laundry, making meals, regularly performing errands, and grocery shopping. During her employment, plaintiff suffered from a hernia of which the clients were aware. On June 18th, 2024, plaintiff learned she would need surgery for her hernia. The very next day, June 19th, 2024 at 10 a.m., she notified Mrs. Klein that she would be needing time off for hernia surgery on July 19th, 2024. Additionally, she told Mrs. Klein that her doctor expected her to need a month to recover, but if she felt better sooner, she would return earlier. On June 20th, 2024, plaintiff placed a call to Karen in TFI's Human Resources Department as she was having a problem with her time card login. She notified Karen by voicemail on that date that she would be going out for surgery on July 19th, 2024, and that her doctor expected she would need a month to recuperate. Shortly thereafter, on June 20th, only 2 days after plaintiff notified her employer that she needed time off for hernia surgery, Carrie Bish, EDP of Finance, called plaintiff to notify her that her employment was being terminated and that she need not return to the house. Days later, as Ms. Bish attempted to have plaintiff sign a release, which plaintiff declined to sign, plaintiff pressed for a reason for her termination. Ms. Bish responded that her employer was, quote, going in a different direction and referenced a problem she had with Klein's nanny. The reason was pretextual. Defendants terminated plaintiff because she requested time off for her hernia surgery. Plaintiff has exhausted her administrative remedies by filing a charge with and receiving a right to sue letter from the California Civil Rights Department. Now, what Ethan Klein is doing is he's going out there and saying, oh, she called the nanny fat. That's why I fired her. And that is really odd to me, because Ethan Klein has spent the last few days screaming on his show in front of all of his Teddy Fresh employees that I'm fat and making the commentating on my body, again, from a video that's over a year old where I'm like 25 pounds heavier, but who gives a fuck? I'm a 40-year-old straight cis man from Pennsylvania in a long-term relationship. Like, do I give a fuck if you're trying to judge me by my body? What the fuck is this? Am I a Victoria's Secret model? Like, what are you trying to do here? But anyway, he's calling me fat, right? He's trying to mock me for being fat. So, funnily enough, that creates a climate where mocking people for being fat is clearly part of Ethan Klein's, it's acceptable behavior in Teddy Fresh. Right? So he's going to say, I fired my maid because she made fun of someone for being fat while making fun of people for being fat. He has literally created a counter argument to his entire case. He might lose his lawsuit because he'll be brought to the stand to testify, and they'll say, you say that she was calling people fat was a reason for termination? It'll be like, yes, it's unacceptable to call people fat and do fat shaming. And they'll be like, didn't you just call so-and-so this someone on fat on the Teddy Fresh show? Isn't this part of Teddy Fresh's culture to call other people fat? So you're saying that it was you didn't fire her for hernia surgery, that you fired her immediately after being informed of. But you fired her for calling people fat, and you're calling people fat all the time? When was it unacceptable? Was it unacceptable for just firing her, but acceptable for everyone else? Was that communicated to her? Like, basically, the entire point is he has just completely destroyed the only argument he had. The argument he had was, oh, I didn't fire her for needing hernia surgery. I fired her for another reason, and this is immaterial. You know, it doesn't matter, right? And I can tell you right now, he's fucked. He's fucked. He's going to look terrible. And a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to say, like, a lot of Ethan Klein's fans are going to look at this and go, no, this is not true. He's allowed to call you fat and it doesn't matter. You can't call the nanny fat. Blah, blah, blah. But they don't understand anything regarding how these cases actually operate. They're not going to be able to establish that calling someone fat was beyond the pale unacceptable while they're doing it. Like they've just destroyed their entire the people going to the trial, the jurors, the judge. They're not going to be Teddy Fresh fans, okay? They're not going to be Vape Nash fans. This is why you're not an attorney. No, that's totally why I went to law school and you didn't. Why is this guy back? So Jewish equals not innocent? Oh my god, this guy's boring, dude. Oh god. Oh my god. This is the average Destiny fan. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Do you ever like, can you kind of, I want to talk about you for a second, man. I want to talk about you for a second. Can we talk about you? I have a issues, but every single content creator seems to accept Palestinian terrorism. Oh, you've just been lied to. Oh, that's embarrassing. I posted a very plausible sexual violence. Oh, this guy was talking. Oh shit, we missed the chance. Did you read this report? Yeah, they were attacking Brits for trying to curtail their immigration to Israel. There was no Israel in 1946. I've never watched H3. So we're back to Hamas, who raped folk on October 7th. The IDF rapes more people constantly. Again, we have ourselves. Okay, you could just ban this guy. This guy is just a literal Hasbaran. Oh my God, Spittington, bro. You're legitimately, this is an alt account and you're a Destiny super fan? This is it? Oh my Lord. Like, you can stay. Honestly, you can stay. I was gonna ban you, but a profound sense of like pity came over me, and I just like, you can hang out, man. You know what? You can hang out. I hope you recover. I want to say how absolutely fucking hilarious it is that you fat soy fucks were screeching and screaming about how horrible and evil cancel culture is and hashtag Me Too shit was innocent until proven guilty. But you're super content to take a side on this because of where the popular support is when only one side is spoken. I'll respond with more substance when I can, but I'm being attacked by people who have literally nothing to lose and everything to gain by saying whatever insane shit they can publicly while trying to squeeze me legally, privately, which puts me in the most annoying fucking spot imaginable when dealing with dipshits like you. If you really want to show your nuts, why not attack places like Kiwi Farms where the content is literally still being hosted and blasted to the world? Also because of the scary party to go after. Talk about cowards. Okay, a couple of things here. One, this is a republication of, he just committed another crime. He just directed everybody to this thing. What are you doing, dude? Like, what the fuck is he doing? Secondly, he's allowed to say whatever he wants. Like, Destiny could say whatever he wants about Pixie, about all these girls that he sent this stuff to. He doesn't have to be quiet. He's choosing to be quiet because he's worried that it might hurt his case. Deciding to be quiet is not, you're not being gagged. You are gagging yourself. You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. And yes, and the thing about that is he funded Kiwi Farms. He literally funded Kiwi Farms. Oh my Lord. People also forget he got a ton of his Keffel's Manifesto info from Kiwi Farms and personally floated the idea of fundraising for the site despite her. He interviewed Null at this time too. This was after Kiwi Farms was already hosting his revenge porn from the Blue Tea incident. Yeah, Destiny loves Kiwi Farms. He's been like, he's always tried to make friends with the Kiwi Farms people. Like, what is he talking about? Sorry to get distracted into Destiny shit, but I think one of the things that we should really keep in mind is that no matter what we do, no matter what we say, these people are unconvincible. Like, Ethan Klein is unconvincible. Like, he's not going to go like, wow, you're right. Your arguments are so airtight. Arabs are human beings. I do believe that Israel should unite into one state where everybody has the freedom of conscience and the right to return and physical security. Why do you hate H3s? Oh, hey, look, it's DGGers. Why, how many couches have fallen victim to your fist, lady Dino? Why do you hate H3 so much? Do you want to Minecraft all Jews? This is the best they've got. I dislike Ethan Klein because he is a criminal. As far as his duties for violating the law regards to his own workers. I dislike Ethan Klein because I believe his housekeeper that he fired her for needing hernia surgery instead of paying for her time off. Free Destiny! Free Destiny! Hey man, hey JNRK, how do you feel about DGG dying out? Talk to me about that. Talk to me about that. Every single one of Destiny's close friends abandoning him because they all know it's true. What do you think about that? Even LSF is against Destiny. It's very funny because, like, when you talk about Ethan Klein, the only people to come and defend him are Destiny viewers. And like, I like that. It's actually good. And that's actually good. So I'm going to explain why that's good. It creates, first of all, there's like between 500 and 1,000 really organized DGG diehards, which is a lot. But it's also nothing. So what do I mean by that? Well, it can create kind of these localized impressions, right? Of certain opinion being way more popular. Bro, you just calling you out a Destiny. You just call anyone calling you out a Destiny viewer because you are a Destiny viewer. You were here talking about Loner Box last. You are a Destiny viewer. So is this guy. You literally are. I don't call everyone that. I just call the people that are that. Destiny viewer. Like, you literally are. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? I'm a boner box guy? There's no such thing. Not many, to be honest. It literally makes no sense when you constantly watch others react to videos about you. Was there like 6 clips of you calling them inbred? Brings up Al Jazeera for a source, LMAO. So you're an Ethan Klein and Loner Box fan, but you're not a Destiny fan. Also, the idea, so when Hassan corrected him, when Ethan Klein claimed the far-right Israeli people who were blocking humanitarian aid and destroying it were, quote, doing charity work, and then Hassan corrected that and showed the context, which was these were fascist militias blocking humanitarian aid and rioting to prevent civilians from getting food and medical supplies. How come that didn't change your mind? Do you think, like, by the way, like, I get it. You're doing this thing where I'm a nihilist, right? Like, this, like I know your opinion, which is you think you're a nihilist and you're having fun at my expense, right? And nothing really matters, right? There is no moral law. Nothing matters. It's get pleasure wherever you can, however you can. If you get to fuck with people and it's fun, do it. Like, that's it, right? Like, if you could explain your philosophy, it would actually be really cool. I respect you. I respect you. Because very few people can just be themselves, you know? Like, I wish you would just do it more publicly instead of doing it with like these alt accounts and stuff. But just go ahead, explain your philosophy. It's really cool. I like it. What are you saying, bro? I don't get it. Yes, I know there's a lot you don't get. You're a Destiny fan. So Ethan Klein tried to get Hassan Piker's wiki feet rating down. And it went from 5.42 to 4.96. So how come Ethan Klein doesn't have his own fans? How come the only people in here... Wait, what was that? Why is the only people in here Destiny fans? Like, why does Ethan Klein have none of his own guys? Why do you have no shooters? Why does Ethan Klein have no shooters? Ethan Klein got banned for brigading WikiFeet. He was trying to get himself to be #1 on WikiFeet. So he was brigading WikiFeet, and so the foot fetishists don't like Ethan. They like banned him from the channel. So his attempt to like interact with Hassan's WikiFeet page is I guess a way of trying to get Hassan banned as well. I wish I didn't know this, but in between these posts about Hassan's feet are also pics about me, where Ethan Klein. This is true. I said, debate me, Ethan Klein. Silence. So you know what Ethan Klein did? He went through all of my posts on Twitter to try to find one of me being mean to one of his fans, and then posted it on his Instagram stories. DGGers, this is your new guy you're gonna rally around. Holy drama farm circle jerk. Hey guys, we can see your posts, man. We can see your posts, man. We can see your posts, man. Are you? Oh my God. Is this an October 7th lever? This is an October 7th lever in the wild. His last post was literally October 8th, and then he waited, and then he became a Destiny fan, an Epstein fan. Are you Israeli? Like, why was October 7th such a big mover for you? No, you're an atheist. Most Zionists are atheists. Ethan doesn't believe in anything. Wow, these are a lot of posts on DGG, man. Do you spend all your time there? This is almost like 12 hours in a row. What do you do for fun besides following Destiny around and like being a super fan? What else do you do? Are you a gamer? You have any hobbies? You're a gamer? What's your favorite game? Both of them replied to me, chat. Both of them followed me. Both of them replied. Guys, by the way, like, I'm not even mad. Like, you and I both know that all of Destiny's, like, narratives around me are not true. You just think they're funny that people believe them, which I get. It is kind of funny that people believe it. It is a little bit funny that people believe it. Not gonna lie. You get to have a little treat. You get to manipulate the cucks and frustrate Mike. No way, H3 was sued. Yeah, H3 was sued for his crimes. Terraria from Soft Games. All right. Would you understand that I'm better than you at those things too? No, I'm kidding. But no, I'm gonna build a bridge between you, DGGer, and me. Are you ready? Are you ready? We're building bridges, chat. Here's my Sekiro 100% achievement run. Look at that. Honestly, I kind of think the game was a little bit on the easier side, to be honest. He's not actually a Diddy GG guy. No, he is. We showed him in Diddy G chat for like 15 hours. He's not a juice. I mean, he sometimes goes to XQC. That's not very often. He's more of a Diddy G fan. For those of you who are Destiny supporters, what is the thing that makes you hate Hassan the most? And then we're going to talk about politics, chat. Then we're going to come back to this as I feel like it. What's the best argument you think? Like, what's the argument that convinces you? Not other people, but you. Like, what is it about Hassan that really bothers you? What is it about his philosophy, or why do you think Bernie Sanders and AOC are bad politicians? He downplays Russia-China wrongdoings. Okay, so he's against the invasion of Russia, the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, and he presents accurate information about China while criticizing China. That's it? So you're just like kind of an American nationalist? I'm not an American NA shithole. Europe is being absolutely taken over by fascists right now as we speak. And you're talking about an American Turkish political commentator all day? AfD in Germany. You have Le Pen in France. You have fascists in Italy. You have Vox in Spain. You've got Reform in Britain. You've got the Swedish Democrats. Like, there are fascists growing in every single country in Europe. I'm not even starting. I'm not even done. I'm just Kurt Wilders in the Netherlands. And you think that Hassan and I are the problem? Because we support Bernie Sanders and AOC. And we support the UAW and the SAG unions and the Amazon labor unions. You can't be like, really? Like, this is, by the way, chat, this is, and since we're talking about politics, this will bring us to the politics section. Which I will entitle Democrats Refuse to Fight. Now, I want to show you something. If you're a politics chatter, I want to show you something. And I want you to understand is that my political analysis is much, much better than Destiny's. And just, this is your opportunity to leave. He's dumb. He's a dumb guy. And I'll just show you.
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have? I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House.
Now, this is the Democratic minority leader in the House. The Democrats have, the Republicans have like a 2-seat majority. The Republicans have, I think, is it 52 or 53 senators? I can't remember. Or the Republicans do, senator. So they have, so everything can be filibustered. And I have said this from the beginning that he was a problem. Ken Klippenstein recently tweeted, "Who the fuck is Hakeem Jeffries and why is he in charge of anything?" And if you've been listening to me for 5 years, I called this. I've been predicting it. I told you exactly what would happen. This is January 10th, 2021. Nancy Pelosi was not pleased when Leslie Stahl brought up AOC. I said, she's 100% grooming arch anti-progressive Hakeem Jeffries to take her spot. The man is fully dedicated to destroying the left in the Democratic Party. Couldn't be clearer. The man needs primaried out in New York. As 2021, I said that she was going to groom Hakeem Jeffries. And I called it exact. How do you think Destiny, not only did I know who Hakeem Jeffries was, I predicted that she was going to groom him to take over years before it happened. And why did I know she was going to groom him? Because I actually understand what's going on in Congress and politics. I actually have insight. If January 14th, 2023, if you want to know where the Democratic Party is going under Hakeem Jeffries, this will tell you. To the far right. Hakeem Jeffries rallying for anti-choice Court of Appeals pick at an event where one of the speakers encourages Republican senators to support LaSalle to overcome Democratic opposition. A crazy start to his Democratic unity tenure. So 2 years later, when he became the minority leader, the first thing he did was promote an anti-choice judge. Hakeem Jeffries doesn't give a crap about Democrats winning the House. He's there to collect donor money and smash the left. Now, I've been talking about Hakeem Jeffries a lot. And the reason why is because I understand there's a civil war in the Democratic Party between the establishment Democrats. Mike, to be fair, brag about having more political acumen than Destiny is like bragging about beating children at T-ball. I'm talking to a specific group of chatters. He says America bad to justify worldwide events and explain the reality, though that's not actual reality. JNR, I don't know where you're from, but we don't say America bad. That's what Destiny says to create a thought-terminating cliche so you don't actually listen to what we are saying out loud. Why are you distracting about Hassan? We're talking about me right now and why I'm right about everything and your boy is wrong about everything. Why are you distracting? Aren't you interested in the fact that I knew this would happen? Why aren't you interested in my political acumen? I keep seeing the take that Hakeem Jeffries has the same politics as Bernie, but for some reason hates the left. Here's a hint. He doesn't actually have the same policies as Bernie. Progressives need to do everything in their power to stop Hakeem Jeffries. He's legitimately the most dangerous politician in America after Trump, November 10th, 2022. Hakeem Jeffries has always been a faux-aggressive fraud that took massive lobbyist checks from Wall Street and AIPAC. Most of his career was targeting progressives in New York and backing up the right. You know, a bog standard Democratic leader. The fact that Chris doesn't know this. Like, this is... and by the way, not only that, I think I actually did a call to the Majority Report about Hakeem Jeffries. I think I might have actually called in to the Majority Report about Hakeem Jeffries because I was so concerned. Let me see if I can find this. The reason why I'm showing you guys this is because, like, the Democratic Party is not resisting Trump. The Democratic Party is not resisting Trump. And people are like, why is this? It's because of ideology. They would rather Trump win than the left win. You can't use America equals bad as your worldview like Hassan does. So what you've done is you've taken a clip of Hassan where he was worked up over some American atrocity, and you're using that as like fully representative of his worldview. You don't think that people are going to get worked up in their rhetoric when they stream politics 8 hours a day for 6 years? They're never going to say anything where they get a little bit worked up when they see an American atrocity. You're going to strip that out of all context. You're not going to ask him what he believes. You're just going to create a clip, and then you're going to use that to create a bad faith narrative, like you've uncovered something, and then you're going to make that your entire like life. Why do you engage with that surface level shit? I think I might have found it. This might be it. Maybe not. Yeah. Billy came through with the Super Bowl and a huge union win against Amazon. Hell yeah, brother. Mike, why doesn't the DNC just unleash the parliamentarian to stop this? We all know the role is endless power. Yeah. Yeah. How can I chat about a deep topic in a chat box without using a slogan word? Well, Hassan doesn't use that. But he's right about the Middle East. Allying with the West is a sign that you're a dumbass. The United States is supporting a military dictatorship in Egypt. They are supporting Al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria. They supported Al-Qaeda affiliates in Libya. They support a theocratic monarchy in Saudi Arabia. They support more autocracies in the Gulf states. They supported an anti-democratic coup for another autocrat with a secret police in Iran. Like, what has the United States done? And they illegally invaded Iraq after supporting Saddam Hussein, including giving him chemical weapons for decades. In what way has the West not been damaging in the Middle East? Which is what Hassan said in that clip, which is, if you're thinking about the Middle East, whatever the Western forces are aligned with are the bad guys. That's objectively true. So you said America bad is not valuable. So America bad is not correct, but then I just explained how America is supporting all of the worst agents in the Middle East. If you think radical Islamism is a problem, then you think America is a problem, because radical Islamism is a movement supported by and created by the United States to counter socialism, to counter pan-Arab nationalism. What about the Gulf War? I mean, the only reason Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait is because he thought he got a signal from the American State Department that they wouldn't care. Like, this is, and ultimately, you know, so when I'm opposing what my country is doing to the Middle East, the fact that we're supporting a military coup in Pakistan against the democratically elected leader, Prime Minister Khan, you don't seem that. Why don't you care about all these times America is destroying democracy around the world? If the West is good, why are we supporting a military dictatorship in Pakistan? Why did the United States support Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge? Why did the United States support military dictatorship in South Korea? Why did the United States support a white terror in South Korea where they mass killed, you know, trade unionists and workers and socialists? Why did America support the Jeju massacre? Why did America support the white terror of Taiwan? Why did America support the Contras and their crimes against humanity? Why did America support the right-wing dictatorship in Argentina, Brazil, Chile? You're saying, no, America not bad, but I just told you 3 separate continents where we committed the worst crimes against humanity that can be invented. What about the massacres in Indonesia? I mean, again, all around the world, in every continent, America is going around supporting the most evil sons of bitches on the planet, and you're saying, well, no, you can't say America has done bad. Why? America is doing bad in the world. And when I say, and then your response is, well, what about China? Well, if you listed the crimes of the United States and then listed the crimes of China against foreign countries, the American list would be about 100 times longer. What? What USA does bad things? Let's explain every world event through that lens. They're the world superpower. And all those countries are currently ruled by these dictatorships doing crimes. Of course I'm going to blame the global hegemon for the consequences of their own actions. I don't think there's any way that you could be convinced that America is doing harm in the world. Like, if, at this point, I just listed... I didn't even talk about Africa yet. I didn't even talk about Africa yet. Other than Egypt and Libya. You know, the United States helped coup the Australian Prime Minister, right? Why is every single monarchy in the world aligned with the US? Basically because it allows us to have a crime family. Basically, whenever there's a monarchy, that's just a crime family. That's just a mafia that we have imbued with monarchical power, right? It's a crime family, and we put a crown on their head to justify what? Stealing their resources. That's why there's monarchies, okay? It's a crime family.
They say no one remembers the embarrassing stuff you did, but I do. I remember when you pissed your pants in grade 3. I think about it all the time.
This is what some people spend their time doing, man. Also, like a stream or two ago, I talked about how the drug war, like the drug cartels are all connected to the United States intelligence agencies. There's a reason why there is no drug problem in China. It isn't because China has some sort of panopticon. It's because their intelligence services are not bringing in heroin to their country to fund their illegal operations abroad. The Hashemites and the Saud families were put into power to secure the Middle East for the U.S. Exactly. Buckmeister. Okay, who's Buckmeister? I guess I should be looking at this guy's chats. Okay. How many couches have fallen fistier lately? Not lately. I haven't been mad. I haven't been mad in a while. Is making a death threat through someone online a crime? Man, you really like the Destiny shit. I didn't make a threat. That's why I'm not going to be charged with the crime, and why I wasn't banned from Twitch for making threats, because I didn't make a threat. That's why Asmongold said, if he doesn't get banned for at least 2 weeks, I'm going to get really mad. And then I wasn't banned for 2 weeks, and then he didn't do anything, because it wasn't a threat. Okay, you guys are listening to the Couch Puncher of all people. I'm not a Destiny fan. You got banned for putting out a death threat. No, I got banned for making an inappropriate joke. That joke is against the rules of Twitch. It's not a death threat, though. You guys don't know what death threats mean. But again, why do you care? Destiny said that he planned on killing someone. Like, Destiny said he was literally planning on killing a guy and his father. Why do you pretend like you care? Assad is a fan of terrorist organizations. No, he's not. Again, why are you guys so convinced of this? Assad has said that terrorism is the natural result of racial oppression and the oppression and colonization of the Palestinian people, and that he's not a supporter of Hamas, but he understands why Hamas exists. And the reason why Hamas exists as the leading organization in Palestine is why Israel and the United States promoted Hamas. Why did Israel and the United States promote Hamas? Israel and the United States promoted Hamas as an alternative to left-wing resistance building. They were worried about communism. They were worried about socialism. They supported conservative Islamist organizations like Hamas. You say Hassan is a fan of terrorist organizations. You know who's the biggest fan of Hamas? Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, so let's see here. I'm not crying like these socialists do all day, every day. What do you mean? I'm not crying. The reason why socialism is such a boogeyman is because they're scared they're winning. Like, you understand this, right? Like, the reason why socialism is a dirty word is because they're scared of it. If we were immaterial, they wouldn't be crying about it every fucking day. They're scared shitless of socialism. That's why they don't let you buy a solar panel made from China, because they're scared shitless of China. Okay. Watch the nuke. I already watched it. Denim's watched the whole thing. Bad and Empanada watched the whole thing. I mean, who cares? And Hassan haters base their opinions on half-finished sentences and out-of-context clips. I think the one thing about Buckmeister, and this is why this guy hasn't been banned, is like they've never actually entertained any of these ideas. They have some like really closely held fears, and that's what usually motivates conservatives. Conservatives are afraid. So let's